Welcome to Conversations Different, the podcast from the Santa Fe New Mexican. And this week we have a real treat for everyone. We are talking to Taos singer-songwriter Max Gomez. And I want to say at the beginning, no relation, despite our Gomez also being from Taos. But here we go. Max, you have a lot of stuff coming up in August. So talk about your new album and how that's coming out.
Sure. Yeah. Hi, Ines. Um, nice to meet you here. Yeah, I'm born and raised in Taos, and my dad's family is from Santa Fe. He was born and raised in Santa Fe, so old New Mexico roots there, and my home state is home and always will be, and I miss it when I'm traveling and playing shows.
Yeah, and you're on the road a ton. If you're, I follow your Facebook page, so I'm always like, dang, he's out again.
Yeah. I am traveling and playing a ton, and I feel like that's kind of it comes with the job.
Mhm.
Careful what you wish for, kind of thing, right?
That's right.
But
So how did you grow up to become a musician? Because it's really a vocation. It's something you feel like you have to do, but it's also a really hard life, I think, in a sense.
yeah, well, when I was a kid, I just picked up the guitar. One of my older brothers, I had four older brothers, and one of my older brothers had a guitar, and I really looked up to him. And next thing you know, he was giving me lessons, showing me how to play, and next thing you know, I just wouldn't put it down, and I was just a kid, just a little
Yeah.
kid, really. And my parents, they split, and my mom moved all the way back to Kansas, and I kind of got shipped back and forth a lot as just a kid, and but I had that guitar with me the whole time,
Oh,
and that kind of
nice.
became a little bit of my saving grace, just as a young guy. And eventually I started trying to play the blues and sing songs, and next thing you know, I got a job, playing. And Santa Fe and Taos are really similar in a lot of ways, and
Mhm.
just about every hotel lobby or bar restaurant's got like a performer in the corner.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
that's not very common. It's common some places, maybe touristy places, it's more common. But it was really supportive kind of place to grow up doing that in Taos and Santa Fe.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, I got hired, and next thing you know, it kind of turned into a little bit of a job, and I took it from there, and that's how it started.
Yeah. I remember when your first album came out, the video was really cool, or one of them. And who was it that directed it? Was it Kiefer Sutherland or somebody like that? Yeah.
Yeah,
So you had some top notch fans from the beginning.
yeah. Kiefer Sutherland was our
Yeah.
our superstar music video director. He
Yeah.
directed the video for free. I remember that was part of our deal. And it was like, okay, well, Kiefer doesn't fly Southwest Airlines. You know what I mean? Like the free video, we still had to pay for everything. It was like policemen on horseback and such at this location and all this stuff. It was quite extravagant, that video.
Yeah.
But that was
That,
for a song called "Run From You," which was a
right.
radio single on my first album. And yeah, there's a really cool video that Kiefer helped bring to life to
Yeah.
accompany that song.
That's it's just funny how the twists of life. I think he used to be engaged to Julia Roberts, another famous Taos person, but they never ended up getting married, if I remember the old
That's
yays.
true. That's true. I've actually
Yeah.
heard some inside stories about that
Oh,
tale, that
that
saga.
that I would love to hear. But s-
Yeah.
that first album really was just you're such a good songwriter, you observe. And I think at the time when I heard it, I emailed one of my friends from college and I said, "This reminds me of Joe." And we both got excited because we'd been seeing Joey Lee since we were, like 16 and sneaking into bars and right before we get to college. And I love the storytelling of your songs. And where does that come from? How do you have that ability to tell a story?
I mean, it's something that I feel like really captivates me, and something that I try to strive for and reach for when writing a song, and it's something that like I study and hold in the highest regard. You know, the story songs of Shel Silverstein to I don't know, John Prine's story songs. I mean, everybody, all my favorite, all the world's best singer songwriters are writing story songs. It seems a lot of the time, and so it's just kind of been a benchmark and a target to aim for. I remember when I maybe first tried to write a story song. I don't think I even did it intentionally or I was aware I was doing it. It's just kind of the way that the way that songs naturally were to me. But I had this friend, Sean Mullins, and I knew that in his songwriting, he often had characters that I think were, some of them were made up and others maybe weren't made up, but he would describe them with in these weird, unusual ways that were really curious and captivating. I can think of one line where he says, in this great song he sings, "The funniest girl I ever knew had hair as orange as Halloween." And it's just like these types
Wow.
of characters. And I started writing songs with Sean Mullins when I was a pretty young singer songwriter, and I thought, well, I don't know what I thought. I thought, well, this guy writes a lot about characters and describes them in all these funny ways. Maybe I'll write some of that, or come up with an idea like that for him and I to work on. So it just kind of evolved. Now I'm a bit older, and I'm kind of keenly aware of these things, and it makes it in some ways harder
Yeah.
to to just blurt something out, because your computer processor up here is doing a lot more heavy lifting or something,
Yeah.
filtering a lot more, if you will.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And what that line is so good is it really gives you a picture of that girl. And that's the whole point of a song is you want to be left with a picture. If you're talking about cherry wine, you know what that looks like in a glass, so you're very good at painting a picture so that I can see what you're singing about.
Thanks, I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Yeah, that's definitely part of the trade, trying to describe something with setting a scene and a stage with just a few words, turn of a phrase.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things that struck me the last time I think I saw you on the bandstand is that connection that you have with your family, because you had talked about when you played at one moment, your grandma was still alive, and this time you'd missed her. And that really, I think, gets to the heart of New Mexico is our connection with our families.
Yeah, that's a really special place to be. The downtown Santa Fe. Uh, there's this story of my family there. My grandmother was an usherette, so I'm told, at the Lensick Theater in the early '40s, and my granddad's parents came into the theater, and she was their usherette, and she showed them to their seats, and they thought she was such a beautiful, young, impressionable woman. They supposedly really you know urged her to meet their son when he got back from overseas, at the
Yeah.
war. And when he got back, they met each other. I'm assuming that had something to do with it, and the rest is history. And she lived to be 96, and she just passed a couple years ago. And
Oh,
a
man.
few, I don't know, I've only played the Santa Fe Plaza maybe 2 or 3 times, but one of the times she was there,
Right.
and she was so old at the time, she was actually in a wheelchair, and some family had kind of brought her up to the show, and it was just as sweet as could be.
Yeah. Oh, that makes everything kind of worthwhile. What were your grandparents' names?
Frank and Alice.
Okay. Okay, because lots of people listening to this will know them, and I think if I remember right, your dad is Steve? Is that
Yeah, that's
o
right. Steve
okay.
Gomez and
Yep.
Frank Gomez and Frank and Alice. I always thought that name was those names are so classic.
No, totally of their time. Yeah, that's good. And you have an interesting name, and that will get us back to the record because your middle name, I guess, is Marvel.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
The cat's out of the bag there.
yeah.
My
And you
my
oh, go
first
ahead.
full name, my full name is Maximilian,
Mhm.
or as every teacher I ever had in New Mexico would say Maximiliano, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah,
And it's funny, like they're doing roll call and they see Maximilian, who knows what they're gonna say when they call my name.
yeah.
But yeah, and my middle name for an unknown reason is Marvel. So my full name is Maximilian Marvel Gomez,
Oh,
which
that's an awesome name. That's a good one. Where did you go to elementary school in Taos, if you went there? So
um I went to Taos Elementary
yep.
School. I think it
Okay.
was the only one in town, the
Yeah,
only public school in town at the time. Would
yeah.
have been the early 90s, I suppose,
Okay.
that I was going to school there.
Yeah. On the
Um,
hill. Yeah. That's a beautiful little that whole place. We lived down the street when we lived in Taos, we lived down the street from the schools, and I always thought my kid will walk up the hill, except then we moved to Santa Fe, so he walked down the street instead, but it's a
yeah,
nice place to grow up, I think. Do you remember do you have good memories from when you were a kid?
yeah, yeah, of course. Man, when our house was full of life, there was like five brothers and my mom and dad and a
Wow.
couple dogs and like a litter of kittens and we had like a little ranch of sorts sort of going on the property. We had like sheep and various animals. It was really quite a lot and a lot of fun. And one of my brothers was a baseball player,
Oh.
uh, big time, like went to college, played college baseball. And so we were always playing something in the backyard. And then Zach was, into guitar. And that's what got me into music. We got into old blues records when he was,
Oh.
a young teenager. And I would have been like 10 years old. We're listening to BB King and I don't even know, just studying a little by little into great old music, which was not. And to my knowledge, I've never met a 16-year-old that would reach for a BB King record. I don't know how that happened to us, but I'm glad it did.
Yeah, that's really good taste, and it keeps you away from, like, bad '90s music or something. So, you talk about
Which
it
was
influence.
also part of our diet,
Yeah. Yeah, no. That's pretty interesting, and in Taos, in a lot of ways, there's not a lot to do, of the fancy entertainment, but there's a lot of outdoor activities and there's music like you guys got. So you really probably honed your craft without even knowing it.
Yeah, I mean, we all grew up skiing.
Okay.
You had to be crazy not to, because you could just check this little box at like the public school form that would give you ski school, and you'd get like a cheap ski pass or a free one, and a ride to the ski valley. One day off of school a week, you could just go ski during the ski
Ah,
season. I don't know if they still do that, but that's how it was when I was there, and you had to be crazy not to do that. So we all skied all the time. And then music slowly started to take over, and it gave me this really amazing opportunity to travel that I would
mhm,
have never otherwise have had. I mean, now I travel nonstop, but it's so different most of the time because I'm just in and out working.
right.
Um, it's not the same. But when I was first doing it for music, in my mid or early 20s, it was like, the experience of all experiences because I got to go to New York City and
Oh,
and I would come to Los Angeles. I moved to Los Angeles as soon as I graduated high school, and I studied music, and I I went to college as much as I could and stuff like
Mhm.
that. And I got to go to Nashville and Atlanta because I had a friend there. Sean Mullins was in Atlanta, and but yeah, going to New York City to record music and just by myself as a young man, like out of Taos, New Mexico, was really special.
Yeah,
To
yeah. Did you ever see the old McCloud episodes where he leaves Taos to go to New York City? He was that sheriff on TV. It was a really silly TV show with Dennis Weaver, but it's funny and it's on YouTube if you ever want to watch it. It's like his first look of a Taos guy in New York. It's pretty funny.
oh, I gotta see it.
Yeah, and since you're from here, you're gonna look at the plaza and say, "Wait, that's not the Taos Plaza, that's Santa Fe." So, they have him walking supposedly in Taos, but it's not, but yeah, it's definitely like small town guy in big city, and then he becomes a great crime solver, so, you know. So you went
Yeah,
and you succeeded as well,
I
because
just I yeah, I had all of a sudden I was building a community
yeah,
of friends and music collaborators and just it led me to making my first record. I always had this goal in Taos as a young performer who was really primarily just playing the bars, if you
right,
will.
that's right.
Uh,
Every week at the Sagebrush.
yeah, those
Yeah,
kind of gigs.
yeah.
We had one that we kind of were pretty proud of and pretty happy with at the time called the OBL in
Oh, yeah.
Taos. And anyhow, I guess I was just I guess I was just talking about how I was building community and going and traveling. I would save up a little bit of money from doing that sort of work, and then I would take it to the city and spend it on recording a demo or meeting a new record producer, whatever I could do,
Yeah,
co-write songs with more established singer-songwriters and such. And I don't know how it happened, but it evolved into now this career that I have, and this new album coming out, and
ooh,
these tours and all the shows,
yeah,
and it's all in a day in the life.
yeah. That's a great place to take a break, and we'll be back in a moment with more Conversations Different.
We make renewable doable. We're positive energy solar for a cleaner, brighter future for all. Positive energy's the right call. Feel good about your energy bill. Help save the planet too. Your trusted solar company, working hard for you. Generate positive energy. Positive energy solar.
We are back with Conversations Different and Max Gomez. Let's talk about the new record, which I think drops late August.
August 29th. Yep.
Right. Okay, so almost a month from when we're taping, or a little less than that. And you're going to be playing in Santa Fe at Tumbleroot the night before at August 28th. So everyone who is your fan, and there's a ton of them in Santa Fe, can go watch you right as you prepare for your album to come out. How exciting is that?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's super exciting, and I will have this new album that's been long in the works and possibly overdue. Um, I will have it on hand at these shows. There's one in Santa Fe, like you said, on August 28th at Tumbleroot, and one on the 29th, the official release date in Taos.
Everyone can see you in both your homes, so to speak.
That's right. And you can always just go to my website or just Google Max Gomez, and these tour dates should just be right there, a click or two away.
Yep. And
Uh,
we will put them on our show notes as well. So people can look at the website, our podcast, and find them. So
yeah,
good.
yeah, that's great. Yeah, so the show at Tumbleroot, Tumbleroot I've found to be this really nice place to perform. I really like the odd woodworking and all
It's that's the strangest stage. It
the
is.
the strange shape of it
Yep.
all. It
Yep.
feels cool. I've had some really good shows there, and I'm happy to be
Nice.
coming back.
Yeah. Yeah, it was once the Club Alegria, and it was this incredible bar with lots of New Mexican music. And Frank Preto, the salsa priest, used to play with his band every week. And he was, I mean, an actual priest. That's why they called him the salsa priest. And it was just fun. And then it kind of went dead. And Tumbleroot has really revived that spirit of community and bringing lots of, they have Saturday afternoon plaza patio groups, and they're having a mayoral forum in September. I mean, everything that you can imagine they do, and it's so much fun. So it's going to be a great show, I bet.
Yeah, I've been able to draw a good crowd there. With any luck, maybe we can sell the thing out or something like that, and I'll have a band and someone to open the show. It'll be a big party, a big celebration.
Yeah. And this album is going to be independent. I saw when I was doing some reading for this, you have a Kickstarter so people can actually help you produce your album and be free of all the kind of mess of the music business.
A little bit, yeah. The music business it changes faster than people in the music business can keep up with it. That's why, that's how like Napster and LimeWire sort of killed the record industry almost in one fell swoop. And now it seems almost like TikTok or Instagram is kind of doing that sort of thing. And the whole idea of making a record is kind of archaic from an industry perspective. Like I have a friend who works closely with Sheryl Crow, and she vowed never to make a new album again like 10 years ago. And I don't think she's done it. Like it's a world of singles, like it doesn't matter to create an entire body of work. It's old fashioned now. It's not the norm.
Mhm.
It's kind of a like a really big effort that, but it's the art form that I believe is truest and purest. And I'm stubborn enough to subscribe and abide by that philosophy. So I went ahead and made a new album, and I named it after a song that I wrote and recorded that's on said album. A
Okay. Oh,
song,
that's old fashioned.
yeah, a
Yeah.
song that I wrote with Michael Martin Murphey called Memory Mountain.
Oh, nice.
So we've
Nice.
got that beautiful title on that great song. The album closes out with that song, Memory Mountain. And
Hmm.
I managed to use this incredible artwork as the album art. It's not a photo of me, which
Nice.
is something I have never been that excited about, having my face plastered somewhere or whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't really excite me, but um,
Your
so
fans like it though.
fans might like it,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
now that I'm in charge of this project, I went ahead and nixed that approach, and we managed to use an old work by Gustav Bauman
Ah,
to be the album art. So we've
nice.
got his woodblock print, Bound for Taos, a car sort of climbing up an old trail towards the Taos Mountains for Memory Mountain, which I just thought was so perfect.
Oh, that's going to be awesome. And that's really special for people in New Mexico who will recognize the artist right away. And it introduces the rest of the world that loves your music to us. So you're really kind of an ambassador for the state in a way.
Yeah, I didn't really know that connection was so strong there until later. I actually, the first I ever learned of Gustav was that particular work, and I thought, wow, this is perfect. We have to figure out how to use this for the album.
Right.
And since then, I've gotten some books and I've gone to galleries and museums and learned a lot about him. But I didn't really know anything before I found that Bound for Taos work.
Well,
And the
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and then the other thing about this album, there's a bunch of things to say about it, really. But one thing is that it serves as the home to the New Mexico song, which is
Yay! I have a
yeah,
copy.
which is sort of a fun country sing-along protest song about our home state of New Mexico and how it can be, misperceived as un-American or another country altogether, or just some silly,
Right.
it's a bit tongue in cheek, but everybody in New Mexico knows there's some truth to that.
Yep.
And in the song, I sing the chorus line, "It ain't new and it ain't Mexico," and it sort of serves as a little unofficial state anthem, as our friends would say.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's also a number of great songs on this record, and I'm really excited that it's coming out.
Yeah. It's, I think, a beautiful thing to perform live. And it's also really special to gather that power and then put it on a record so you kind of preserve a moment in time. And then people can take it home and listen to it over and over.
Yeah, that's what literally the word record is
Yeah.
that we're signing off on this recording, and it lasts forever. It's
Yeah.
like a time capsule, and it will always be just the way it is.
Yeah. I had my record player died, and I finally got one for Christmas, and I took out all of my many old albums. And it was funny because my kid's old, and he's like, "I didn't know you were that cool." And I was like, "No, I just wrote record reviews, so I got a lot of great stuff." And just, there's nothing like a record for putting you in a place or a time. You know where you were, and for you, you're going to remember the recording. I mean, was it a hard process, or was it just a lot of fun in the studio? Was it LA, or where'd you record?
Yeah. Well, first, I want to talk a little bit about, like, you're talking about your vinyl collection and such. Like, a lot of folks don't realize it, but vinyl has outsold CDs for a number of years now in the global music business, and certainly in North America and such. And there's something about it, because now we can just tell Siri or whatever, push a button in the car and say, "Play Steely Dan's greatest hits," and it comes on 3 seconds later. So, like, there's no point really in having a CD unless you have an old CD player, which I do actually, but not everybody does. But to have an old vinyl record it's like the most romantic, tangible piece of physical music you can buy. It's a souvenir. It goes on kind of your vinyl shelf like a book. You got the artwork, you've got the photos, you've got this beautiful vinyl record, and you can play it. And that's kind of where it's at these days. So I'm happy to hear that you have a record player.
Oh.
And if you're listening and you don't have one, you can probably get one at like Target or Walmart for 20 or 30 bucks. But if you can't get like a really great, Pioneer one at your local stereo shop or something.
Yeah.
But it's time to get back into vinyl if you're listening and you gave it up.
Yeah. What's wonderful to me is it's so intentional when you're playing a record. Like you said, it's not just saying play this. It's just like you have to go get it. You have to take it out. You have to put it on. And then you start looking at the album notes and remembering, we played my first record, Peter, Paul, and Mary. And I think I got it when I was 4. It was my allowance. And it does not work anymore. I have to get a new copy. But man, for one song, it was okay. And then it died because the pops, it had kind of, I guess, gotten warped. But there's just so much in that piece, in that record cover, that you cannot recreate with a CD or with streaming. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yep.
it's the last sort of real way to do it, I think, in a lot of ways. So that it's an easy, accessible, and wonderful way to support musicians, and to have a home hi-fi system. It's just awesome. You got to do it. Those little Bluetooth waterproof speakers you take
Yep.
off the river or put in the shower. That's I'm not impressed with that stuff. But
All right.
I want to tell you a little about making the record, though.
Okay, let's take a quick break and we'll do that on the other side. We'll be back in a moment with more Conversations Different.
This is Patrick Dorsey, publisher of the Santa Fe New Mexican. Looking to reach a wider audience and grow your business? For 175 years, the Santa Fe New Mexican has been the trusted voice of Santa Fe, with unmatched local reach in print and online. In addition to our long-standing, independent, family-owned newspaper, we have a full-fledged marketing team with the expertise to help you succeed in the 21st century. From traditional print to precision-targeted digital advertising, we have the tools to connect you with your ideal customers. Partner with us and see the results for yourself. Advertise with the Santa Fe New Mexican and unlock your business's full potential. Visit us at santafenewmexican.com/advertising or call us at 505-995-3852. Thank you.
We are back with Conversations Different and Max Gomez, and he's going to talk to us about this new record and what it was like to make it.
Yeah. Hi. So this record was recorded in Los Angeles, actually, near the beach or at the beach, in Marina del Rey, just sort of south of Venice Beach and Santa Monica. Pretty quiet area for a beach city in LA. Not a lot of restaurants or anything like that. It's just a residential, sleepy little beach town. And a friend of ours had a house there, this big, beautiful house right on the sand. And I made friends and teamed up with a guy named Mark Howard,
Okay.
who is a really well-known record producer and recording engineer, et cetera, et cetera. And Mark came in and he built a recording studio in our friend's house at the beach. It's something that he does. Mark does this all the time. He built the studio in one day or so. And then the next day,
Wow.
we had all the musicians showed up and myself, and we started recording. We recorded 2 or 3 songs a day, maybe more. And we recorded for about a week. And yeah, we recorded in an old-fashioned sense, in a very sort of unusual way too. We just recorded live in this house, in this big living room, very close to one another, no isolation.
Okay.
So like the drummer is like 5 feet in front of me, maybe 10 feet in front of me, and he's just there playing along. And the bass player is to my right, and the guitarists are to the left, and the keyboards are over there. And we're just like in a big circle, almost like a drum circle or something, like a small circle. And we're all just playing and just listening to these songs and kind of getting the feelings right. And then we hit record. And we made a record.
Oh, that's the best way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mark, a lot of folks know Mark. It's worth mentioning more about him. Mark is well known in the recording world. Him and Daniel Lanois were partners on many, many records. Lots of famous records like Bob Dylan's "Oh Mercy" and "Time Out of Mind," and I think U2's "Joshua Tree," and Emmylou Harris's "Wrecking Ball," and the list goes on and on and on. He's made some of the coolest and most well-regarded records of the modern era. And it was really cool to team up with him and make a record the way that he likes to make them.
Oh, so special because it's like you're in this long line of people who have contributed to our musical scene, and he thinks that you're good enough to keep going. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and in the cast of characters that supported me and him on that record, meaning the musicians that came along and played on the album, lots of them are the folks from over the years that he's worked with on various projects, such as those ones I mentioned and such. So it's all just kind of like a modern musical family, just sort of contributing and coming to life in support of a new project,
Right.
Memory Mountain in this case, and an old friend, Mark Howard.
That's pretty awesome. And I think the fact that you co-wrote it with Michael Martin Murphey is a nice touch too, because that's another bit of New Mexico in there, because he plays at Red River and everybody, in the northern part of the state knows him. And of course he's famous across the country for, the songs that he won, sold millions of copies, etc. So that's just, I think it looks like you're someone who, as he goes through life, makes alliances and makes friends and then grows stronger because of it.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. That's
Yeah.
definitely, I think that's an important part of life, is just to build community and make friends and family wherever you can.
Yeah. Especially for someone when you're on the road all the time, it can get kind of lonesome because the people you love you might like your band a lot and maybe you love them, but the people, your family, are somewhere else. So
It's a very interesting phenomenon. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like I've had conversations with strangers on airplanes that went deeper places than some of my closest friends and family, but it's all relevant. It's all just one crazy world, and you got to make it yours.
Oh. And part of this new kind of independent adjusting to how music is today is that you do other things. Like I remember during the pandemic, you did a Facebook concert and we could watch and send money. And it was really comforting. I was doing my dishes and there you are playing in the background. And you are going to be doing a rafting trip where you sing while people go on the raft sometime in August. And you are available for house parties, I read. I don't know if that's true, but I'm just like, it's like you're a troubadour, have guitar, will travel.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk just a moment about like this independent release, because this album is being released independently, and when we say that, I guess we mean free of contractual obligations or something, or restrictions, so to speak. And all the records I've ever released before this have all been contractually bound and worked with different companies and things like that, like record companies and such. And this is really truly my first independent release, where I'm releasing the record myself, and I have my team of managers and such, and we're hiring various support along the way, just like a record company would, only without the restrictions of this, that, or the other. And I am running a pre-order campaign for this album right now via Kickstarter. And you can go there and support my effort in releasing this project and just me and my music in general by going there and checking it out. And you can do so much more than just order a CD or a vinyl or a T-shirt related to Memory Mountain. There's things like you had mentioned, house parties. That's true. I sometimes play house concerts or private events or something like that, and we talk about that on the Kickstarter page, and that you can even try to support the project by pledging to buy a house concert or a private concert, and that's an option in there. But I think the whole idea of going independent for this record and possibly for future records or all records going forward, like so many of my heroes have done in the past long ago and still do today. It's a bit of a liberating thing. I feel like it's a coming of age sort of thing too. And it has to do with, where my career is. Like I think I'm playing just over 100 concerts this year, which is a lot, maybe more than I ever have. And they're all of these concerts I'm talking about are in different places, not maybe one or two in the same city, but generally different city, every single one of them. All over,
Yep.
into Canada, into Europe, and all over coast to coast right here in our homeland,
Yeah.
But it's just kind of a natural process, to be honest, and I'm asking for my fans and those who support live music and such to take a look at it and come to a concert, maybe buy a record, check out the Kickstarter page, join the email list, stay in touch, and listen to independent radio, and check it out.
Yeah. And when you do, you're going to hear music that tells you stories and is beautiful and insightful. I think that's part of it, is good music makes you think about your life and yourself and just the world around you. It's more than just noise. So that's what I think you do.
More Than Noise Records.
Yeah.
That'll be the name of our company.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate it. And I know it's going to be a great success. And on that note, this has been another Conversations Different. We'll be back next week.
Thank you, Inez. Great to talk with you.
Thank you for listening to Conversations Different, hosted by me, Inez Russell Gomez, editorial page editor for the Santa Fe New Mexican. Our weekly episodes would not be possible without your support. We hope you enjoy them and keep listening. New episodes drop every Tuesday. Consider signing up for our newsletter so you never miss an episode, and while you're at it, consider subscribing to the Santa Fe New Mexican. Our podcast is available by visiting our website, santafenewmexican.com/podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Conversations Different with Inez Russell Gomez is produced by Matt Dalside and Ernesto Cisneros, published by the Santa Fe New Mexican, a local and independent newspaper owned by Robin Martin.